before we go deeper into all these tips and also how you manage it, right? I would love to understand further. Okay, you guys need to educate me a little bit because I'm the non-Chinese here, right? Yeah. So we want to make it different as well for our podcast. We want to make it more like personal level, dietitian point of view, and community point of view.
Place.
Interesting.
Yeah, we actually really do have good policies in place. Like, have you read it? I actually read the whole document. So I've gone through. I mean, like they address common issues: malnutrition, overweight, obesity, and things like that. And they have a lot of things in place that are really good as well. Now the problem is the implementation.
Execution.
Yeah. Not to overeat it.
Not to overeat it, because. All right. We have another similar question actually that I have in my mind to ask you, whether how can we, we have, for example, we have bakwan, we have pineapple tarts, and a lot more cookies, and how can we actually take it in a way where we do not compromise our health goal, which I believe you already answered just now.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Not Only Diet Talk, episode 27. And in this episode, if you can see what I'm wearing, or you probably can read from the title already. So we are going to talk something related with CNY, Chinese New Year. I think by this episode being released, it's during CNY. And basically, not to forget, when we start our every episode, we are going to mention, in my final diet, we aim to bring sustainable dietary behavior for everyone. Right. So, in today's episode, we are going to just focus on some of the questions that I think the community would have regarding when it comes to CNY, when it comes to festive season, and thanks for tuning in. We are having a guest as well for today. I think you all can see her. can see her already.
But Shen Yi, before we start, can you just explain what is this attire is all about? To give that Chinese New Year vibe.
This is basically cheongsam. And if you can see, is this going to happen? But yeah, if you can see, usually Chinese, they will put some elements like dragon or like cloud, because they believe dragon is a very holy animals. So usually on cheongsam, they will either have phoenix, if I'm not mistaken, or dragon, or some other, like some of them might have tiger, correct. I always confuse tiger with lion actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's basically what I'm wearing today.
Yeah, so I think today mainly we want to discuss more about diet, CNY, because I think those are very relatable stuff every time during Chinese New Year, right?
Yep.
And our guest today is very special. We honestly never met her before.
Oh, thank you.
Right? But we always see her on social media. And she's been very active as well, building her own company.
Yep.
She's Adele. Adele, maybe you want to just introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi everyone, I'm Adele. Do you want like a full introduction? Oh.
Anything that makes people know you, like.
Hi. I'm basically a nutritionist and dietitian. I did my master's in nutrition and dietetics from the University of Sydney, and so basically work-wise, what I do is, so my company is Nutrition Track, and we started it back in 2018 until now, and our main focus is really speaking to individual clients, so individual consultations, corporate programs, and talks, and also sessions that are tailored to special interest groups, for example, like athletes sometimes. And in terms of the types of clients that I see, usually the biggest chunk would be weight management, or basically working on building good habits around food. That's usually the biggest one. And then I do take clients with chronic diseases as well, women's health, and performance. So these are like the main ones that I see normally. Yeah.
All right, amazing. So knowing that you have extensive experience in nutrition and dietetics in a way, right? Because you have both, right? Nutrition and dietetics, right? So we are interested to know, what is your nutrition principle?
Okay, my nutrition principle is basically all foods can be included in a balanced diet. That's essentially my nutrition principle. So is really embracing all foods mindfully. Now, some people may hear this and say, "Oh, does it mean I can go out and eat everything I want?" Right? But no. So really embracing all foods also means that you are honoring what your body needs nutritionally. And also what you also like to eat. And also all of these things must be aligned with your goals and your values in general. Yeah, so that's basically my approach when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah, I remembered when before we started this recording as well, Adele was mentioning about improving the relationship with food, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's a very, very important thing we as a dietitian and nutritionist need to remember as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, Shen Yi, you want to ask about the new question that we basically include in our podcast?
Oh, it's a new question? What?
It is a new question.
So you are the first person.
Okay.
But before we go into that, I think a lot of times, right, people don't read. I want to emphasize a little bit on the relationship with food, because nowadays, especially when we talk about festive, right, a lot of people, they might not aware that they're actually having a bad relationship with food.
Yep.
And probably
Absolutely.
And probably we can talk more later
Yep.
in terms of some of the eating behavior. Right, so moving on to the second question, like the new question. Are you nervous?
No, you put me at the spot here.
Right, so basically, Adele, if you are the next Minister of Health, alright, so what is the things that you will do differently as a minister in terms of the policy? And like, what is your unspoken vision?
Okay, honestly, policy-wise, I think we actually do have very good policies in place.
Interesting.
Yeah, we actually really do have good policies in place. Like, have you read it? I actually read the whole document. So, so I mean, like, they address common issues, malnutrition, overweight, obesity, and things like that. And they have a lot of things in place that are really good as well. Now, the problem is the implementation.
Execution.
So that's the gap that I see as well. So I guess what we want to do is we want to see how we can bridge that gap better. The policies are in place, but action-wise, what's happening on the ground, I would say it's picking up. Compared to 5-10 years ago,
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely picking up. So I do think we're moving very slowly in the right direction somewhat. So yeah, that would be my take. I don't think I'll do anything different policy-wise, but yeah, it's just the implementation. But how can we make it more accessible, more affordable? I think these are bigger questions that we want to like figure out as well.
What is the example of the things that you see, the changes? Because you've been in the industry for quite some time, right?
I think the awareness, especially post-pandemic. So my own clients, I had clients coming to me as early 20s. Like looking back for myself, like early 20s, I'm not even going to look for a nutritionist or dietitian, right? But I had a lot of clients early 20s coming to me wanting to improve their diet, and I really think it's a really good step in the right direction. Like the younger generation, which is the one that's going to take over and stuff like that. So so they are the ones already like prioritizing their health and nutrition. So I think it's a good sign. It's definitely a good sign.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
What are some of the policy that because you basically gone through all the policy, and maybe I'm just wondering, because honestly I've yet to go through it, right? But
That's very honest.
I do notice what government is doing in terms of to reduce the sugary drinks and etc. But just wondering, like in their pipeline, what is the policy that catch your attention? Maybe just one.
Like school programs, like is it preparing breakfast at schools or minimizing the types of foods that they, I mean controlling the types of foods that they offer at schools, which I think is very important because it really starts there. Good habits need to be cultivated early. Because I mean, if we ask ourselves, right, change is so hard at this age already. The earlier you start, the easier it is, for sure. So that's what I see that it's quite good. Yeah.
That's nice.
Right. Because I come across some of the SJKC, I think. They already
definitely, yes, Even when I was in school, it was already like implemented.
Really?
Yeah.
Our school, my school didn't really implement it.
Maybe let me clarify. When I was in secondary school already, then I see the primary school change.
Okay.
Is it in Klang Valley or like?
Yes, in Klang Valley. Yes. Yeah.
Oh right, alright. Interesting. Because I thought
Because I remember feeling very sad for them, like, oh no, they don't get to eat all the foods they used to eat, like all the chips and all the candy, the Yuppie. Okay, we might want to censor that. I was a brand. You remember, right? The mini thing, so good. Okay.
Alright. So yeah, talking about that policy itself, when we talk about the school program, which I think that is one of the things that probably we can talk more next time. But back to today's topic. Because if some of you know Adele, you come across her profile before, you will know she is actually an athlete as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can I still say so?
Yeah. Sort of,
basically,
yeah.
What do you mean? Can I still say so?
Because
Sort of.
because I see you are preparing training for some
Yeah.
coming. Okay, so she's an athlete. All right.
Before, right? She's an athlete.
She's an
Yeah.
athlete.
I'm going to record it.
Right. So do you usually, because when we talk about Chinese New Year,
Yeah.
we talk about CNY festive,
Yeah.
right? Do you usually train or take care of your diet during CNY?
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
how do you do it?
So for me, okay, even this is, it still applies even if I'm not training for anything. Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, diet and exercise wise, I always have a structure. Yeah. So okay, let's talk about diet first, right? So diet wise, I always have like a structure, meaning to say that like a backbone. And what I mean is mostly a routine lah. So I'm basically, yeah. So I basically have that backbone, and I can be flexible on top of that backbone. And because of that structure, it helps me to adjust accordingly. So for example, like let's say
Right.
Chinese New Year lah.
Yeah.
Let's say I know that, okay, I'm going to go out to have a family lunch, and I know that they're going to have foods that I really like. So I'll keep breakfast and snacks lighter. That in that sense. Same on flip side, if let's say for example, if I ate too much at a meal, then I know how to adjust elsewhere. So, and I guess it does come with the job of being a dietitian, right? So I am very, very aware with my food intake. So naturally, it's very easy for me to do. It's not a chore lah. Yeah, it's something that I've already done for many years already. Same with exercise. I do have a structure. I know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do on that day, and I just plan accordingly. So for example, if let's say I need to buy yen in the morning, then I will wake up at 5, for example, to get it done. Just get it out of the way. So yeah, and to me, I've done that for many years already.
Okay.
It's not
Right.
it's not something that's very hard to do. Yeah. So it's a habit lah, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Before we go deeper into all these tips and also how you manage it, right? I would love to understand further. Okay. You guys need to educate me a little bit, yeah, because
Okay.
I'm the non-Chinese here, right? Yeah. So we want to make it different as well for our podcast. We
Okay.
want to make it more like personal level, dietitian point of view, and community point of view. So on the personal point of view, lah, outside of diet a bit, what does Chinese New Year means to you?
For me is food, connection, getting together, and really just having a good time, seeing people that you really don't normally see. So that's kind of what it means to me lah. Yeah.
Okay. Will Shen Yi mention the same thing?
Pretty much, but the words that comes to my mind is more towards catch up. It's like you catch up with the people that
yeah.
your relative, your
Yeah.
family that you have not been seeing, and then of course when we have gathering, the food comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why we have all the reunion dinner and things like that. Basically, how I see it is a time where we gather all the family members to
Extended family members
Extended,
that
yeah.
you don't really normally see.
I think if you ask me what Raya means to me, I
Same
will
thing,
also say
right?
the
Yeah.
food, right?
Yeah.
So that goes into my second question, right? Why all of us think, right? Me specifically you. Why do we think that food is a very big chunk of our festival celebration in Malaysia for every kind of like celebrations?
I think because it's a lot of culture and tradition. So the food, for example, like the dishes, they all have meaning, like specific meaning. And so I think that's why we practice it that way as well, and we enjoy that. And of course, it's food always brings people together. I mean, I also raya with my friends, and I'm sure you also have like join like Chinese New Year. Have you?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, and I think that's something unique about Malaysia as well. So we all like celebrate each other's festivities together.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so oftentimes we also heard like people say it's okay lah, you know, like Raya or Chinese New Year is only once a year, so we can eat as much as we want in just that one particular day. So what do you think about this kind of statement whenever people say that to you?
Well,
will you feel like triggered or something? You know,
Yeah,
like,
very, very triggered.
yeah.
Because I mean, like you said, like if you know me, I don't like this mindset. For many reasons, this kind of thinking is, first of all, it implies that you can only eat during like this time, or these special foods can only be eaten during this time. And then secondly is you're definitely not being mindful if you're eating as much as you want on this day, which means that you're not giving your body what it needs. You're also not honoring your body. So those would be the few problems with it. And long term, if you have this mindset, I mean, like you said, we all celebrate each other's, right? So it's not just Chinese New Year, right? Yeah, and then after that, Deepavali, you know. So if you apply this throughout the year, that won't be, I would say that won't be in line with your health lah, for sure. Yeah.
That's very true. Shen Yi, before you go into the next question, I was attracted with the statement you said about we should honor ourselves, right? Do you mind to like just tell more about this statement? What do you mean by it?
So basically, it's really giving your body what it needs. Yes, also what it wants, but basically being very mindful about it as well. Yeah. And when you honor your body, you're also honoring your goals and your values also, which I think is very important to consider. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So maybe we move on to a little bit about dietitian.
Okay.
Maybe before that, let me share a story lah.
Okay.
You know, whenever I have let's talk about CNY. Whenever I have gathering with my friends, right? My friends all know I'm a dietitian, and then they will always say, "Hey, you dietitian, you don't want to take vegetables, dietitian, you can eat this, man."
Oh my god, I get that a lot. Yes.
You get that a lot as well. But usually, like as a dietitian, let's talk about as a dietitian. Me personally, when I'm having talk with my friends, basically they are all healthy. So I would, because we are the same age and they just tease me like that. I will usually just say, "Yeah, lor, dietitian today, I'm not a dietitian," things like that, something like that. But how would you do if, let's say, as a dietitian, right? What is that? How will you do to not make people feel intimidated? For example, sometimes when probably some of the listener or audience, they come across like our dietitian always asks us to take vegetables, for example. Like what is your approach on this thing?
For me, actually, it's total opposite. Like, I mean, like, I don't think my family or people around me actually feel like intimidated by me. Yeah. And I think because my approach is also very flexible in that sense. So yes, I eat my vegetables, but I'm also known in my family to eat the most cake and the most dessert as well. And then everyone will be like, "Oh, look, the dietitian is eating all the cake, and then we can't do that kind of thing." So I don't think they feel like intimidated. But I think one of the good things is that in a way, I'm able to influence them to eat better as well, but not in that intimidating kind of way. It's just I see you do this, so I want to do this as well kind of feeling lah. Yeah. So I don't think my family or friends feel intimidated by me.
But do you guys feel that we are being watched all the time?
Of course,
of course. Let's say I want to take rendang, right? Like everybody was like, looking at me, for example. Do you feel the same thing?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Right.
Definitely.
But usually they just don't care.
because why? Because it's only once a year. You also have the same mindset.
Because I can't deny that some of the cookies or like CNY cookies, I can't get it out of if it is not CNY. So I will have that mindset. But of course, as what Adele mentioned as well, when we have the habit, that we know when to stop.
Yes, correct.
True.
So that mindset, yes, but moderation.
Yeah. Alright, so talking about festive cookies, because just now I mentioned there's a lot of different type of cookies and things like that. In your point of view, when we talk about nutrition content, for example, right? Is there any festive cookies or CNY cookies that is nutritious? Okay, how should I put this? Okay, higher nutrition value. I will put it that way.
You try to make the cookies
Mandarin orange.
Mandarin orange. Okay. Yeah. Besides that, is there any that?
I would say they're all very similar across lah. They are generally high in salt, high in fat, high in sugar.
True.
Very similar. I wouldn't say like one is like better than the other. At the end of the day, it really comes down to how much you're having.
True.
Yeah. And the danger with telling people which one is like better, that's the one correct. That's the one they're going to go for.
And eat a lot.
Yes, correct.
Adele said like that.
Betul. So not going to give them chance to do that.
Okay, but let's be practical. How many would you suggest if people want to take at one time?
Okay, it depends on the variety as well. But I would say at one go, 5 pieces of something lah, of whatever variety.
Cookies.
Yeah, whatever variety. It's,
At one time, yeah?
Yeah,
And once per day?
Once or twice per day.
Yeah.
Okay lah.
We have to be
okay lah.
specific, right?
Yeah,
True. Later we'll just take 5 the whole day as well. Right, okay. Yeah, because I do come across there's a lot more option recent years lah, basically on the sugar-free cookies and things like that. Yeah. So when we talk about sugar-free cookies, would it probably as also 5 a day, for example?
Yes,
5
I would
pieces?
definitely say so because again, the no matter what the food is, you cannot overeat it. That's my principle.
True.
So it's always the moderation still applies. That's why sometimes I don't even bother going to which one is better, which one is more nutritious in a sense, because at the end of the day, you still need to moderate it anyway, right? So if you really want to go for something, like you really want your cookies or you really want some cake or whatever, just go for it and just don't eat so much of it. That's my take lah. Yeah.
Just to taste it, but not to get full with it.
Yeah. Not to overeat it.
Not to overeat it. Because, alright, we have another similar question actually that I have in my mind to ask you whether how can we, we have, for example, we have bakwan, we have pineapple tarts, and a lot more cookies. And how can we actually take it in a way where we do not compromise our health goal, which I believe you already answered just now.
Yeah, it's the portion control lah, basically.
Yeah.
And how much or how often and how you do it really comes down to the individual goals. And that will be different across everybody because everybody will have different goals, different values. So taking this, you kind of need to match it with that individual person as well. So fine-tuning it to this person, but this one will be like the 5 pieces or whatever will be like the general for everybody that everybody can kind of apply. But specifically unique to the individual, then of course more can be done lah. But yeah, that would depend on the individual goals.
But one thing that I feel like as a dietitian, I don't feel fulfilled that much of giving this kind of advice. It's because I feel like it's very easy for us to say that, like for people to control, to be mindful and everything. But it goes back into the accessibility of that food, right? Because on that particular point of time, on that festival, it's literally in front of you.
Yep.
So I don't know, like I'm struggling in my mind right now to think about how do we manage this, whenever it's like the festival season.
So are you trying to say that that particular food or whatever is not offered outside of it? Or not offered outside of this festival? Kind
of like example, the cookies, right? Usually if we want like, let's say, I don't know, like pineapple tarts, we have to buy. But apparently on that first day of Chinese New Year, it's definitely on the table.
Yep.
Easily reach. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Unlimited supply.
And they were like, okay, it's only today. Like I will start my diet tomorrow. So I'm struggling on that my thinking,
Okay. You might feel that it's something like our advice on like moderation, mindful eating. You may feel like it is very hard to apply. Honestly speaking, it takes practice.
True.
And years of practice. But I can really say for sure that if you are really being mindful, and also like taking into account your goals and when you allow yourself to eat this kind of food, right, it takes away that specialness of the food. So for me, for example, okay, same. I used to really like all these snacks, and then like CNY, I used to go all out on the snacks, and that was because I had that mindset of I can only eat it this time, and then other times I cannot eat it. Okay, but when I really deeply explore this kind of mindset and like, okay, this is not the only time I can have it. If I want it, I can go out and buy it anytime I want. And really, when I just have that mindset, it just takes away that need to want to eat it anymore. And honestly speaking, I find that as I grow older and when I'm being mindful with the snacks that I really like, right, I find that I don't actually like all of them that much when I'm actually being mindful with it. I only like a few, for example. And I think, I don't know, like it's just not that appealing anymore when I allow myself to eat it. But yeah, it definitely took years of practice, but I can tell you it will work long term, and I've seen it in my clients as well.
I see.
They like not only just festivities, but other foods. For example, like they like if let's say they have a bake sale at a school, and then like foods is there, cakes is there, and they will feel like, okay, this is the only time that I want to eat it. But when they actually think and plan ahead, they actually realize that, oh, I'm actually just eating it because it's there. I actually don't really like it in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's being mindful, because that see food, eat food kind of mindset, sometimes you're just literally eating because it's in your environment. You're not considering, do I even like it in the first place?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think so I guess for listeners and viewers, the tip would be to really pause, take a step back, and then ask yourself, like, okay, do I really want to eat this food? Yes, it sounds a bit crazy, a bit time consuming, but I can tell you it works lah. It will work with practice.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting perspective. Yeah.
Okay, so let's put in the scenario where we already overeat. Okay, for example, because that will be that. What Adele mentioned just now is a mindset that we can work on it,
Yes.
and definitely takes time. I think one of the things to add on would be the knowledge as well.
Oh,
when
yes.
you know what is the
Confirm,
nutrients
True,
that the
true.
food is
Yeah.
offering,
Yep.
then we will actually automatically stop.
Yeah.
We wouldn't go
Exactly.
that far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. So if let's say I'm the person lah, right? I don't have that mindset yet, and then I already overeat. As a dietitian, I know I overeat because I eat like I just watch the TV, spend time and just eat. What would be your tips to burn the extra calorie after CNY?
I wouldn't go into that mindset to
Okay.
burn
Alright.
the calories after CNY.
Okay.
I would just say go back to your eating routine, your normal eating routine, as before. Yeah, you don't need to work it off or work harder to burn it off. Again, this kind of mindset it's a slippery slope downhill, because it will ruin your relationship with exercise. You would dread exercise, and exercise is something that everyone needs to do, regardless of whether or not you eat cookies or not, whether or not
Agree.
you are lean or not lean. You still need to exercise. Everybody
Exactly.
needs to exercise. So that's the kind of mindset we want to have, but we don't want to tie that with burning the calories that we've eaten, because again, that is not a good combination, not a good relationship with exercise. And yeah, you will definitely dread it if you have that kind of mindset. So my tip would just be go back to your regular eating routine, go back to your regular exercise routine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So answering back the question, is it okay for us to just go all out during this festival
No,
sale?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't say so.
Alright. I like that consistency.
I wouldn't say so.
What about Shen Yi?
It will still come back to that mindful eating, ordering what your body needs. Yeah. When it comes to food lah.
Yeah, I mean, if well, that's
You
a
can be
question for me.
honest. Honestly, you can be honest,
But
yeah.
I do still eat a lot, indulge a lot without thinking. But what and honestly, me personally, I don't have the mindset where I need to burn the calorie after CNY as well, because they will put me in a very hard situation. For example,
Yeah.
I eat a lot, then I know I need to compensate what what I've been doing during the CNY. So if I do so, then I will just move on, because given that the daily nutrition or daily meal of mine is actually balanced enough. So after CNY, I will just go back to the normal one, and then probably I will take that as I think like a motivation for me to start exercise back, because during CNY, me personally, I don't really exercise. yeah. The exercise is just eating.
The hand
movement, right?
Yeah, just the hand movement.
Okay. I think we can move on into the next segment, right?
Yeah.
So as we are seeing more and more young parents nowadays are more health conscious. Also, as what you said just now, you see a lot of like youth or youngsters at like 20s, started to like thinking about having a dietitian nutritionist, right? And these people, they probably also are parents, right? So what and how will be your approach in guiding your own child through the diet in terms of the diet during Chinese New Year? Like you as a parent, and as someone else who's listening and also a parent, because we want them to start small, right?
Yeah.
We don't want them to have our mindset, right? Yeah. So what and how will be your approach?
Okay, good question. I'll follow the same so-called principle, which is the structure. So, and kids love structure, and they feel very stable with structure. So I will still stick to, let's say, for example, if your child has breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack kind of pattern, just stick to that pattern during Chinese New Year as well. So outside of so-called snacking time, Of course, depends on the situation. Like, I wouldn't need to be like a strict structure, right? Of course, especially during Chinese New Year, you're going to be out and about, you're going to be traveling and things like that, right? There will be your schedule will definitely be messed up in a way.
True.
Yeah,
But again, loosely following that structure will guide you to know how much you're feeding your child and what you're letting your child eat as well. In terms of what they eat, I'm quite flexible lah at this point. As long as it's always like that so-called balanced approach lah. So it's eating your vegetables, your protein, your carbs, but then if you want like snacks here and there, you can definitely have it. Yeah. So if let's say my baby asks me, I want this biscuit, but it's not her snack time, sometimes I just say, okay, it's not snack time yet, let's wait for snack time. That's my approach lah. But I will still let her eat the cookie and whatnot, depending on what it is. and depending on what it is at the moment lah. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay.
Very practical, yeah.
Very practical, and basically following a structure.
Yeah, that structure.
Don't run away that much. Alright, so I mean, besides on the structure, because you mentioned two things just now. One is the following the structure, right? And the second one is more focused on, if let's say they have something that they want to eat, you personally, probably you won't restrict that much. But will you restrict in terms of the portion?
Yes, definitely. So I'll give her whatever portion that I want her to eat. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes she does ask for more, but I'll say, okay, it's enough. We can have it the next day.
Right. And this is the practice that you have even it is not festive season.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
How's the reaction of your baby usually?
Okay, I think she's too young now.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
But she's okay, like 2 plus 2, 2.5. Yeah, but she, okay, so for example, Christmas, right?
Yeah.
She got this gingerbread cookie from school, and she was asking for it for like days and days and days, but I didn't really want to give her because like a lot of icing and whatnot lah. So I think we gave her half. We gave her half on one of the days, and then we clipped it back up, put it on the counter, right? Then every other day she'll be like, I want a gingerbread cookie. But in the end, we just because I didn't really want to give her the gingerbread, and she was asking it during breakfast, which I don't want to have her. Like, I don't want to have it at breakfast. So I said no, you must eat your breakfast first, and then maybe you can have it for snack. And then that kind of went on for a few days until my husband ate it lah. So the gingerbread man cookie was gone. So, but yeah, she will probably ask for it, but she's not at that point where she's like going to throw a tantrum if you don't give it to her, that kind of thing. Yeah, she's still reasonable for now. Yeah. Right. And when I tell her like, okay, you can have it another meal or can have it another snack, she's okay with it, and just give something else that like. I think I wanted her to eat a fruit, so I just cut up a fruit, and she was happy with it.
Okay. I don't have a child, so I don't know how's the real situation, right? But a lot of time, what I see is that parents kind of like don't know what to do whenever they throw tantrum, right?
Yep.
So in your situation, right? Let's say it didn't happen. So what will you do? What's your action steps?
If let's say she
throw tantrum, for example.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I won't give in for sure. Yeah, definitely I won't give in, because they will learn. They learn very fast that they know that, okay, if I throw tantrum, then I'm going to get it. So next time if she wants it, she's going to throw a tantrum. It's very hard to do, I know. It's very easy for people to say like, oh, you should just either just so some parents, I understand it can be very tiring after a day and you don't want to deal with it, so they just give, right? They're just like and I probably have done it before in the past as well. And yeah, it's something that I guess we definitely will do at some point. It's not going to be a perfect journey for sure. But yeah, I think if you are consistent in your methods and your ways, and you just take time to tell your child that, I think they will probably listen lah.
Okay, Shen Yi, before you go into the summary lah,
right.
What is the mindset that you have that makes you, what is your way of thinking that makes you have this good mindset about this thing, because I feel like you are seeing things very far. Right? So you know what are the consequences in a very far situation if you are, feeding her with that thing, you layan her tantrum, for example, right? But what makes you be super aware in terms of this? Because I'm thinking about, like, let's say listeners want to have a very practical, advice or like suggestion how to have this kind of mindset. I know it's very intangible to say.
It is. But yeah, I think for me it's really like diet really starts young lah. And I know for sure, and I've seen families, I've spoken to clients before, at this age, it's really very hard to change. And normally when they're adults, they will do what their parents have done or would do. Yeah. And so my best advice is, if let's say your child doesn't listen to you, don't want any advice, be that role model yourself. Because actions truly speak louder than words. So words just go in here, come out here, one, right? But they will see what you do. Yeah, and if you're consistent with it, right? Yeah, they will follow suit lah. Yeah, so my baby also goes through a phase where, you know, she hates vegetables and she likes vegetables and she hates vegetables. So the last few months, she actually didn't want any vegetable. The minute she sees something green, she would take it out. And I can tell you, even a spoonful of rice and everything, right? There's like literally one speck of, like, you know, spring onion, like damn small. She put in her mouth, she managed to get it out, you know. Yeah, and to that point lah. So, but I still kept offering, still trying. And in the last few weeks, she told me, "Oh, Mama, I love veggies. I love spinach. I love broccoli." Oh yeah, like randomly, because I just kept offering, just kept asking, kept giving. And she has started to eat spinach and broccoli again. Oh my god, thank God. But yeah. And then last time she also hates beans, like chickpeas, legumes and whatnot. And edamame, she hates it as well. But I just like kept eating it. Sometimes I let her like peel it for me, and she'll like do it for me, and then she'll feed me and everything. Then suddenly one day she put it and took it in her mouth, and then she makan. And I'm like, wow. And then she started snacking on it. Yeah. So keep doing it, keep being that role model lah. Kids watch what you do lah, really.
I want to have a baby now.
No, it's not that.
But it's actually sounds fun, right? Because you get to design how you want your child to be,
but
right?
I'm sure that's why the home is going to be very important, because when they go to school and everything, they're going to be influenced by their friends, what's been offered in school. And things like that lah.
Do you monitor whatever that she eats at school as well? Are you that kind of parent?
They will tell me what she has eaten, because they have the standard menu that rotates every like 2 weeks, and they'll just report to me what she eats and what she doesn't eat lah. Yeah.
So will you play your role as a dietitian to give comments? cannot.
I can only control so much lah, so I make sure that her home one is good lah. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very practical advice. Me personally, I don't have the experience. You also don't have the experience. But of course. But one thing that you mentioned is also the very similar things that I have been sharing with the client, especially their child is picky eater, with dealing with children and things like that. Is really to don't give up.
Yeah. It's really
like,
don't give up.
If you didn't give up, you just give in, then they will just want it more and more.
That's where they learn. Yeah.
That's very true.
I think that applies for everything as well. Not only on diet.
Be persistent.
Be persistent.
Yeah. Right. Just something that I just want to take off of my chest, right? I remember you said earlier about a backbone or something. Do you want to repeat that part? Because I think I like that advice, you know?
Okay, so that one is more of my eating routine. Okay. So actually, it's also one of the key things that I tell my clients to do. One of the key things, like, do you have a regular eating schedule? Okay. So, and it doesn't have to be a strict schedule.
All right.
And there's also no such thing as the perfect schedule or the perfect frequency, right? The perfect one is the one that suits you. So I always tell my clients, pick an eating schedule that suits you. So it could be a breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, whatever pattern that you choose. Make it consistent. Be consistent in that pattern. So that allows you to kind of assess, first of all, create awareness and kind of assess your own intake throughout the day, and also helps you to decide should you eat the food. So that kind of seafood, I see food then I eat food thing, right? It helps you to stop and see. Okay, example lah. Okay, example. Let's say for example, today snack time at 3:00.
Yep.
Okay, and 3:00 snack time is not my usual snack time. So let's say my schedule is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and let's say for example I felt hungry at 3:00. And because it's not your usual eating time, right? You can then ask yourself, why am I hungry at 3:00? Is it because I didn't eat enough at lunch? Is it because I didn't eat enough at breakfast? Then you can assess. Okay. Then if you realize that, oh, lunch today I was very busy, so I ate less. Then okay, I think I need a snack now. So okay, go eat it. So it's is that decision is an informed decision. You've assessed your own diet, and then you think that, okay, I remember like now is I did enough now, so I'm going to eat something here. If you're random, you would have no idea where to start.
True.
You'll be thinking like, oh, did I eat lunch today, or was it yesterday I skipped lunch, or was it I skipped breakfast? You know, you wouldn't have any structure lah. So that's the backbone I'm talking about. And also and also it will help you decide. Let's say for example, you know, office people buy food back, or like when you have workshops, you have tea time and whatnot. Then again, you can also ask yourself this question. So like, okay, I there's food now, but is this my snack time or is this my eating time? Then you can, from there you can decide, should I eat this or not? Yeah. So that's the kind of backbone and structure that I'm talking about.
I'm gonna copy that.
Okay. I said it first.
Yeah, Shen Yi, go ahead.
But it's very nice, seriously, very
It's
practical.
very nice. Is where you are basically like teaching your client or teaching yourself to analyze your whatever you eat.
True.
Yes.
To be just to be more self-aware, and that would actually block all the seafood eat food, seafood
correct.
eat food kind of cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This definitely would be a good tidbit.
Right. So basically, I will just summarize whatever we have talked today. Basically, we started with talking about, you know, what is Chinese New Year and etc. And then we basically discussed mainly on the food, like how should we see the festive cookies or the bakwan or the pineapple tart or whatever, right? So how should we actually have a healthy relationship with all the festive cookies? One of the very important things is you need to take in moderation. This is going to be like, you know, we are going to repeat the same thing again and again, but also at the same time make sure that thing is, you know, aligned with our own health goal. So for example, if let's say we have some disease, some chronic disease, that's probably you really need to be very strict on it, because you do not want to, you know, make your condition even worse. And lastly, we talk about being you know, young parents, how adult as well to actually establish a healthy eating routine. And I think that is also the things that can also apply on festive season.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the last part definitely need to mention again is the backbone.
The structure.
Yes,
the
structure. Right. So basically, we are approaching the end of this episode, but maybe just one last thing, since it's Chinese New Year, right? And do you have any things that you want to wish to the audience and listener?
Happy Chinese New Year. But okay, wait. Yes. Happy Chinese New Year. Yes, but I do have one last tip. Okay.
Right.
If let's say you really overeat at Chinese New Year or one meal or whatever, right? Don't sweat it. Okay, it's fine. You always have the chance to make the next meal better. True. You don't need to wait for when Chinese New Year is over or a new year or a new month to change. You literally can make changes at the next meal.
True.
So that's a very, very important point to remember as well. Okay?
Right. Yeah. I mean, solid.
That is very solid.
All right. So once again, thank you very much, Adele, for accepting the invitation to join our Not Only Diet Talk, and for the listener and audience who are celebrating Chinese New Year. Of course, us, My Fine Diet, we would like to wish you happy Chinese New Year. And for those who are not celebrating, and for those who are not celebrating, of course, enjoy your holiday, and don't forget. I mean, whatever we shared today
still applicable. Yes, to all festivities.
So I hope all of you can find something useful. And if you like all the content, do forget to just subscribe and to share this episode to more and more people around you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.